Alright, it is time for raising funds for World Domination Day 79. So there's no updates on this. I worked a bit on the next video, but that's not done. Other than that, it's time to work on what we always work on, which is the block mining simulation game. So last night, I continued to work on simplifying and optimizing the code for sending differences to the screen. We're sending the updates of the text that has to be displayed to the screen. FUNUT says, hello, how's it going? Alright, let's make sure that still works. I think some of the recent changes I made, it still works, but it's super slow at the moment. But I'll have to run once I'm done moving around the functions stuff, I'll have to run the profiler again on it. Oh, and I guess I also have a regression up here. It's not clearing the screen. On the circuit it says fire emoji. What's going on tonight? We're working on the block mining simulation game. You have to be on your best behavior tonight. Otherwise I'll have to ban you. Colleen Murville says, good evening. Happy hacking. Thanks. Tonight we're working on trying to merge. I have a bunch of functions for merging together the layers that appear on the screen, and I'm working on refactoring those to move them all into a dedicated class, so then I can kind of try to simplify them, and then once they're simplified, then I need to optimize them because they're quite slow. And there's also some subtle bugs in them. There's a bunch of edge cases with like multi-column Unicode characters and stuff. I'll probably also make some unit tests as well. Alright, that looks like it still works. Leo Hiroyama says, good morning. Good morgen. That's German, isn't it? But when I look at your name, that looks like a Japanese name. But I guess maybe that's an anime character or something. Ever code in cafes? I have coded in cafes. It's a lot of work to go to one. I guess I could do that for one stream for a change. You are Japanese. Do you speak German? Is that a place in Japan? Ohayao? 9. Oyo equals good morning. Okay, is that Oyo? Is that good morning in Japanese? Almost went to Waterloo. Wish I went to Western. Oh, okay, so you're here in Canada. Interesting. We live in a very multicultural world. It's hard to tell what languages people speak and where anyone is from. Studied in Canada. Okay, so you're back in Japan. Japan. What's Japan like these days? I see some videos that come up every now and then about people people in Japan are starting to get fed up with various economic issues like everywhere else in the world. Like you guys are starting to have a little bit of inflation now. And the whole the salary man culture doesn't sound very appealing. It sounds like a worse version of what I was trying to escape by not going into a regular full-time. GJUCHO says, hello, how's it going? That's not how you say that. Gacho? Gocho? I think I broke it. Maybe that's not supposed to be there. Gaucho. Oh, hope that's close. Excellent. Trying to work that time. I forget what I changed, but it works. So this function here is pretty similar to the same one that I have here. This one here. So I'm thinking about, there's probably a way to just make them the same thing, make that an operation on the screen layers object. Good evening from USA. Future ally of Axel Heiberg Republic. Excellent. I'm already winning over hearts and minds. We're getting pretty close to the $12 billion goal. I think I got maybe like $1,600 or $1,700 raised. World domination, one text-based mining game at a time. Yeah, that's exactly how Rome was created. It all goes back, it always goes back to the Roman Empire. We have a Roman Empire building text-based game. It's possible. It's doable for sure. This man just taught me how to make a CPU. Hi, you're from the How to Make a CPU video. That's my most popular video. A lot of new people. Yeah, I think the algorithm is constantly putting in new people. I guess it's 17 concurrent right now. Start with sand, start with the rock. We can start with sand, I guess. I have another video on silicon specifically, but that one doesn't get many views. In that video I talk about sand. Fun fact, I spent took me like a day to find a place where I could actually just get a piece of B-roll footage of some sand. I went out to the local river and like walked up and down the trail, and I couldn't find any good shots of sand. Conspiracy theory: if regular people join late, then the YT algo recommends the video for new people more. I assume what's probably happening is like it seems like my viewers, it almost seems like there's a cap basically. Like right now I'm in the bin where the algorithm sends me like on the order of like 20 or something. It's probably based on like the overall moving average for my channel. Because it seems like more than a coincidence that it's always about the same, like even if I release a new video or something. But I think if the viewership, like if there's a holiday or something where it's a lot of people in, then it might go back up. I think that my record is like around 100. My guess is probably if I like continued streaming for a long time, and maybe if I streamed more, then eventually it would kick in, and it's probably trying to reach like a confidence level. So like once the average watch time and the average like retention rate and the average like chat engagement of a user goes above a certain threshold, then it's like, oh, okay, we know who we can confidently recommend this to, and then it recommends to those people. There's never any good sand when you need it. It's true. It's quite expensive to get good quality sand for manufacturing CPUs. It's always got those trace impurities. Maybe thinks enough people are watching the video already. Yeah, if the regulars are watching it, then I think it probably it's like, okay, this is our sample size, so we just need to see like what subset of those people who watch it are going to get bored and leave. What's your feeling on vibe coding? Overhyped for its time or something else? So people ask me a lot about AI coding, and I Googled a bit to like read some terms of service for IntelliJ's AI today, and I was reading a bit about it, and even like it seems like even as much as a couple months ago, it's still kind of terrible. Where like it was like some chat-based interface, and it would not allow you to like commit the changes. Like it was like a ChatGPT type interface, and they had no feature for it to like automatically apply those changes, and they just added that like 2 months ago or something. So I honestly have not really played around with it, but it's high up on my to-do list. I think so far some of the results I've seen in ChatGPT and like other chat tools, it seems to be quite good. Like it can actually, I think it could do meaningful work. People have said though that when you start when you actually get into like vibe coding, that's when you get into problems where you like turn your brain off and you're like, all right, refactor this class, do this broad thing, and you're not actually like reviewing stuff. But it does sound like it would be good. What I'm probably going to try and do with it is try and do like I'll just ask it open-ended incremental improvement questions, like find one line of code that I can delete from this project, and then it'll probably come back with something, and then I can just delete that, and then that'll just keep asking that over and over again. What's the max concurrent viewers you reached? I think it was over 100 around Christmas or so, when my how to become a 37-year-old broke loser video was trending. Vibe coders are not programmers. In the same sense as listening to music doesn't make you a musician. Doesn't make programming more accessible. Like make a VB script to make their task faster. Yeah, I remember, well, this is a while ago now, but I remember asking ChatGPT about like the Myers diff algorithm, which is kind of an esoteric thing that I happen to know a lot about. And it would like at first do like really impressive things, and then the more I asked it more questions, the more it would just basically give gibberish. And it kept like it would correct itself in circles and say like, do this thing, and then it would give me output that looked correct, and then I'd be like, hey, wait a minute, that's wrong, and it'd be like, yes, you're right, absolutely, here you go, I fixed it. And I'm like, okay, you fixed that one thing, but you had this other problem. And it's like, yes, you're right, let me fix that. And then it would just go back to the first code sample that it gave. Better analogies, Marilyn Manson. I don't know. I can't. It seems like very far-reaching analogies for me. I feel like it's good for small scripts, small functions, not huge chunks. Need a function to get insertions from a line to circle. Yeah, it seems like that is going to be the primary use case for it. You're live again. Oh yeah, you're the other one I had to put on timeout last night. You gotta be on your best behavior tonight, or you'll be getting banned. I've seen that as well. Different language. Yes, you're right. Let me fix that. It's such an amusing. It's so it's so like annoyingly polite. You time me out. It was. There was. Oh wait, it might have been someone else. Oh no, I think you said. You mentioned that word one time, and then it was the two other people that I timed out. I think, and because I think you stopped chatting nonsense. Yeah, there were a couple of people that were like chat, just kind of spamming the chat and being off topic. And I put them in 24-hour timeout. Too old for that? What does timeout mean? Temp timeout ban? Yeah, if people are like spamming the chat or being annoying or something, I can time them out, or I can also hide them from channel. Hate when the AI is too polite. Just tell me information. Yeah, it can be. I think you can change the prompt to make it to like not give you the pleasantries. But the problem is then, like internally, that doesn't make it more intelligent. Like it'll still internally just be like, here I fixed it. Here's the code how to do this, and then it'll just keep being wrong. Kind of late over there, back east. What is the warning streams? It's the stream warning streams current bit rate. It's warning me about something about my internet or something. I just always ignore that. I think it's maybe meant to indicate that the stream might lag or that the quality is not going to be good enough or something. But I just ignore that, and I never really had an issue. Maybe a better analogy for vibe coders is like comparing DJ to musician. It might be. I don't really like analogies. For me, I think it's if the underlying thing you're discussing is simple enough, it makes more sense to just say it like it is. Let's see if that compiles. Stream always looks very good to me. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess I could dig into why that's showing up, but if it's not broken, don't fix it. People seem to do confused vibe coding as a substitute for programming. Yeah, that's not surprising. There's a lot of noobs. It's their first introduction to programming. It's going to lead to an interesting next generation of programmers. If it's a simple question, I don't think you get so many questions about AI and vibe coding. Yeah, it's such an open-ended thing. It's hard to quantify what the effect will be. Terminal block, mining simulation game 0.07, looking good. Excellent. Warning, the stream's content is related to bitrate. Does it say that somewhere? However, 0.07 seems mighty unconfident in your numbering. This looks kind of beta. Yeah, to me the numbers don't really matter. I'll probably, I don't know, maybe we'll just make every version, it'll be 0.0526. I'll probably be slow, but for me, major minor patch is what I read it as. Yeah, I at this point it's not something I think about too much. Numbers up to the dev's interpretation. Yeah, I'll just keep incrementing it. I'll just do the simplest thing. It's like the least important aspect. Did on the circuit get banned? I timed him out for 24 hours. Redman is a circuit guy, I think. I know he was. I know last night there was three people who were like saying stuff that was off topic. One, Redman said one thing, and then I warned him, and then he didn't say anything else. Crazy. And it was on the circuit, and then there was another person that I timed out for 24 hours, and I haven't seen that person tonight. Is my iPhone's speaker blown, or is there there a static in the audio? There might be a static. It might be the sound of my fan in the background. Limit myself to 1 inappropriate comment per chat. You could also limit yourself to 0. Don't have any static on your end. That's good. When he talks, there is no light static. I don't know. Could be your could it be a cable that's not completely plugged in somewhere? Usually a problem with streaming when I finish dinner and have a scar. Paid for Red Hat Enterprise. I don't even know what it costs. All right. Null pointer exception. $294. That's what I expected. Let's talk about text-based mining games and their path to world domination. Sure, what do you want to know? What if you could make a similar game from NetHack source? Probably, but then it would be a similar game and not my game. Rocky makes for a good home server. I don't really even think I've ever heard much about Rocky. Probably someone's mentioned it before and I forgot. Why is that wrong? These games are actually more complex than they seem. I mean, terminal games. My game is, I guess, becoming complicated. Some people have said that I overcomplicate things, but I'm trying to make it I'm trying to generalize the code for, so that I can do like the most efficient, close to the most efficient possible, like screen updates and like recalculation, because it's going to be necessary to make it very fast and palatable. Oh, it's changes.get change region. Of course. OOP fries my brain. I think it can be, it gets pretty good. I guess it depends what you come from, but like in C, you use structures a lot. And if you, like eventually you need something to package information into. I think you can abuse object-oriented programming. Like if you just take everything, if you take all of your variables and just throw them into like one giant like state class, then effectively you just end up with like a giant state class that's full of global variables. But it can be pretty useful for packaging stuff up. All right, this is a good sign. Low level C OOP isn't as useful. I mean, if you write a lot of C, oftentimes, like depending on what you're writing, but you'll usually package the structure of your data into structs, and structs are that's kind of the gateway drug to object-oriented programming. I think that was yeah, it was if you, I don't remember the exact phrasing they used, but if you look at when Bjarne Stroustrup invented C++, that was some of the original thinking. It's just like, hey, wouldn't it be nice if this struct also had a function on it. Pretty much only do embedded. Even then, it's only a side business. You know, honestly, in this day and age, if I was going to try and recommend someone to focus on anything to like not be replaced by the coming AI wave, I would say embedded systems is probably a pretty good place to be, because there's so much of that. Like obviously you can use AI if you try there, but that's the one domain where there's first of all there's less available training data to build models for that stuff, but also embedded is just so specific. Every different system you work on requires like real world things. C++ is overwhelming. Yeah, C++ is insane. I stopped learning it in like 2010. And since then they have, what is it, like 5 new versions? One thing I never understood is how even plain C allows refactoring functions. Things like hooking up signals. How it allows referencing functions for. So is C a functional programming language? Yes, I think C is a fairly functional language. Yeah, I think embedded was like if you go back to say 2014, embedded systems was like that was not the place to be to make a lot of money, and it's not where the growth was. But these days, I think for like the front end web stuff, that's exactly where AI is going to really disrupt everything. But also, like, there's less demand for SaaS software, and I think still a lot of trends converging that are going to mean that that's not as valuable as a skill to go into. But there's also a ton of like real world robotic stuff. There's a lot of, in my opinion, there's a lot of innovation to be done in electrical engineering and just like, you know, building like smarter power supplies and stuff. Like going from the older power supplies to like more sophisticated switch mode power supplies that like can supply exactly enough power at the right time, but also making it filtered correctly, but keeping it low power and low heat dissipation. And there's a lot of low-hanging fruit there to do. I think front-end web dev is going to take a hit for sure. As even non-AI tools like Figma can do more. Yeah, I also think, I mean, there's also been, there's also changes like to tax law that I think is kind of an underappreciated thing, that changes to tax law have made it so that the way you write off the cost of software engineering dev work, like I think that there was a lot of venture capital. Well, there's zero interest rates in the tax law, meant there was a lot of dollars just going toward like building nonsense SaaS software that was just competing for the same users. And effectively the company would just reduce down to pay, they would call it a tech company, but the business model was you just use the VC money to buy marketing to steal users from a different SaaS product. I think we're onto something with embedded systems too. Harder for an AI to do something like unplug power. Yeah, I think that's that stuff is the case, but there's also like, I think there's way more like out of band things to learn about embedded, like if you're debugging a pure piece of software, the AI can figure out some way to start another tool and debug and inspect and stuff. But with embedded systems, like sometimes you may have to like get out the multimeter and like test what the voltage difference between 2 points is, because the voltage level of a pin or something can dictate what is going on inside the program. And that's not going to be possible with AI. Or like sometimes like when you short out your board, to know that the board is physically damaged, you have to test it. Okay, we did more function moving. Oh, interesting. That's new this month, I guess. So maybe we're in for the next wave of high growth. Maybe zero interest rates are coming back. Although I don't know, geopolitically the world is I can't keep track of like all the stuff that's going on in the last few days. Smeltering Canadian tariffs. Oh yeah, we had some more tariffs today or something. Why would R&D stop? I'm suspicious of headlines. There was a change to U.S. tax law. It might have been a couple of years ago now. They changed to argue. They wanted to argue you would have to depreciate a software development R&D expenses over like several years, like as if you were buying like a piece of like capital equipment or something, which is kind of unusual compared to like if you hire a cashier, you pay the cashier $10,000 to work during that year. That whole $10,000 comes off of your expenses to calculate your profit, and you're taxed on profit. But how they changed it was with software engineering salaries for R&D, they were going to make it so you have to you can only claim part of it in the first year, as I understand, part of it in the first year, and then it would have to be like depreciated, as if you're buying like a new machine or something. So the effect was made it way less economic to build software. One could argue NASA is R&D, and wasn't NASA budget reduced? I'm not sure if. I guess NASA is a government agency, so they wouldn't. I don't think it would apply to them because they're not a for-profit business, unless they are. I don't think they are. But I know they're government, but I don't know how they're structured. this leads to more software jobs. Market is kind of pretty bad. Yeah, theoretically it might revitalize the market a bit. Although I think probably interest rates would have to go down to get back the kind of euphoria we had before. But I think things are changing in a big way. I wanted to encourage my daughter to go into software engineering, but she is probably going to be a dentist instead. Yeah, I guess if she's interested in that, I mean, given all things considered in the world, that's probably not a bad thing to go into. It's not going to be automated away. Although the other thing that's happening now is private equity is buying up all these companies. They're buying and starting to buy up like optometrists and dentistry practices and stuff, and that the result is poor quality service for the patients, and also really increasingly bad working conditions. This looks really awful, but I'm gonna refactor it all later. Game Dev Chad says, greets, how's it going? Not sure how you code with all this chat. I'm a lot less productive than I would be otherwise. I guess it's I'm doing like low intensity programming. Is that a C equals 64 avatar icon? That's just an emoji character. Yeah, happy face. So we can probably make use of our same function now. Why is there a region variable here? Maybe it's not used. Is it broke? Okay, I've watched plans for a world domination video. Excellent. You're up to date on the plan. Index 1999. That's not good. It seems to hinge on Robert Heller, the maximum leader for life, becoming the new leader by leveraged buyout. Sort of Michael Milken of dictators. Michael Milken, who's that? Who's that? Inventor of junk bonds for LBOs. Deep Sea Port Ideas novel, of course. The overall plan reminds me of China's Belt and Road debt slavery system. Yeah, there's some learnings there. I just need to set up my own belt and road. I think Robert's plan needs more than 12 billion. I was looking into it. I think you can build a deep water port actually for substantially less than 12 billion. But to get a fuel farm set up and all that stuff, that's going to cost a lot more. Well, you're going to start with phase 1 first. Get the deep water port and then get some cash flow going. And then you can just take out loans against your cash flow producing assets. Free cat healthcare for cooperative cats would be expensive. But that would incentivize good cat behavior, and that good quality cats will take care of themselves and they'll have lower healthcare costs. We can lend them more. Yeah, I'll have to get them involved. All I have to do is just convince. I'll start an AI campaign, and you'll see these. You see all these articles like, people tried eating bugs, and turns out they liked them. And we'll start a whole series of propaganda to get people to eat bugs. And convince people that they don't want to own anything. They should rent forever. It can be a really long conveyor belt from Amazon distribution center through Canada, by the way. Actually, that's great. I should steal that. A literal interpretation of the Belt and Road. Fast food chains and underground structures. Yeah, we'll have to get one of those boring machines too. If I super chat, may I increase my inappropriate comment limit from 1 to 2? I don't know. It depends how inappropriate the comments are. I guess the main issue I have with the inappropriate comments is that it's not that they bother me so much. It's that there's there's basically like a dam that's bursting of if one person starts posting degenerate nonsense, and there's always there's a couple of people that kind of ruin it for everyone else. There's one, if it was one person who was kind of make off-color jokes, some people could do it right, but then other people will try to chime in and it just goes off the rails. But I don't know. I think you only use the word goon once, and most of your conversation here is pretty normal. Don't say something that might get Robert banned. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen anything right now. We're on the top chat, so it's supposed to be already pre-filtered by YouTube. So that would be kind of stupid if YouTube doesn't filter something in their own chat that they're filtering and doesn't allow us to talk about geopolitics and then bans me for it. While we're dumping money into socialist paradise for cats, someone has to pay the piper. It's true. One rotten apple spoils the barrel. Yep. What does YouTube ban for now? I think they're honestly pretty lax. Although, like, I think it's a difference between like banning, though, and like kind of toning down. So, like, I think they're, I think the kind of like awareness of what the channel is, like especially now with large language models, I'm extremely convinced that like everything that I'm saying is being fed into like a large language model that's probably building up like a model of like what my entire channel is about, and then it's also like probably in real time saying like what age audience is this appropriate for, and could this cause offense to these things, and based on that, it's like it's probably like auto detecting like is this content meant, is it designed for kids, is it for mostly for men or for women, or, and if it gets like too racy, that probably tanks down. It says that, it'll say it's like, oh, this content is only for mature audiences or something. I tried to post a link to a new article. By the way, the comment. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't post any links. YouTube only blocks my messages with Python code. All links get blocked. Even YouTube links are blocked. That's probably good. I guess if you want to direct someone, you can just describe it. YouTube knows I'm a middle-aged male. I'm constantly am served up Russian bride ads. Yeah, it's kind of surprising that there are ads of that. I think I want the opposite thing. Yeah, I think for most advertising, I think it's if the click through, like if the conversion value is high, then they can afford to pay way more for the ads. That's why I think like very sleazy. The sleaziest ads often are the ones that get the widest reach, because they're just so profitable, whatever they are, whether it's gambling or gambling, crypto. How do I make a CPU? That's a good question. I actually have a video on that topic. I get so many people coming in all day asking me about how to make a CPU. I just had to make a video for it. I have some other videos on my channel about silicon, chips in general. Vacuum tubes. I don't have any vacuum tubes. Okay, so that's not, it's not working. I think YouTube will continue to become worse until we see competition. The problem is, how would you compete with YouTube in this day and age? There's already been a few competitors, but like they have all the content. Okay, I think I've got to rethink my variables. Okay, let's make the variables more consistent first. Rumble and Odyssey are microscopic. Does Odyssey still even exist? Problem is search engine placement. Yeah, even in the browser space, Firefox just seems to be going downhill. So there's going to be even less browsers. Twitch is actually a decent competitor, though the different target segment. Yeah, Twitch is its own unique ecosystem. Firefox is doomed. Yeah, it kind of seems that way. Is that a bug? Will you consider a volcano layer instead of an Arctic airport? Arctic port? No, I think having a port is important for commerce. Volcano layer means lots of energy, the ability to make new land. Actually, I when I was doing some research on how to get energy from Axel Heiberg. One of the things I looked in was just like what kind of thermal flux is there coming up from the Earth's core. I was interested in just the general average, like for if you had like a ground source heat pump. And actually, Axel Heiberg, the interior, has of any area in the entire Earth, it has one of the oldest areas of the crust, and it has some of the lowest heat flux, and so I think it's probably one of the least volcanic activities in the world. So a volcano is probably not feasible. When Robert moves too much, it becomes a blob of pixels. Might be related to the bitrate warning. Oh, maybe. Maybe it's overdue for its volcano rebooting. It might be, but I don't know how you'd address that. It's my dial-up connection. Need faster internet, I guess. Okay, screen layer uses I. Why is it broken? I guess we need I guess it would need like a frame dimensions object created for it. Because that's basically the change region is offset into the center somewhere. Thrilling stream? Yes, indeed. The suspense of realizing that the offsets are different. So for the user interface thread, this is going to the offset's usually going to start at 0. Or the stuff in changes. But for this function, changes, I think, is the size of the entire screen. On the edge of your seat. Very suspenseful. Be able to play block mining game via live chat soon. My goal is I have like 2 functions that are basically the same. So I'm thinking about how do I just make them into one. And then once they're both in the same function, then I can just think about how to refactor it. I guess when this is hard to think through, I do what I often do in this situation. I know the differences. So what I'll do is just change it until it looks identical. And then once it's identical, then the merge is easy. Chat revenue is bugged, showing 0. It actually is 0. No one gave super chat. It's been 79 days, so I can't. I think a total I'm at almost $2,000. I need to go back and add it up. But people, the novelty wears off quickly when the days just keep going up. We will need to borrow 12 billion super chat money to acquire Ecuador, or like Liberian assets through shell company. Yep, it's a long-term plan. I'm not sure if Ecuador is the right first country to acquire, but we'll see, I guess. Somalia is number 1 on Fragile States Index. You would think so, but the problem is how much cash flow can you generate from Somalia? Tariff payment, excellent. Thank you very much for the $10. Yeah, apparently they said that we have a new tariff today. I don't know, today or yesterday, or it's more like random tariff chaos, and it's not even. I think he threatened 35% on everything, and then maybe like more on top of that. At least they have $1 trillion banknote. Do they have a $1 trillion banknote? I remember there was some kind of a theoretical hack about the Federal Reserve. They had the possibility of issuing $1 trillion coin. If I think it was for when they can't make their budget. Relevant software being a major exporter of misinformation, an importer of helpful doctors. Even Somalia could make monkeys. Actually, but Zimbabwe. Yeah, you know, anything's possible if you can get the money for it. Revenue is reporting properly now. Yep, we got. And I can tell the exchange rate too. 10 USD equals 1370. And let's make sure that variable renaming just actually works. So we're getting closer to having basically the same code. I haven't been monitoring the chat. Seems like a reasonable. There's nothing too crazy there. Kids keep coming up with new meanings for words. Yeah, it's starting to get. It's getting crazy. Like this, like when there's a new word, when there's a new slang, I want to like learn it, not because I want to, pretend to be like kids or something, but I want to understand what people are talking about. But like when there's those three people who come in, I still am not 100% sure if they're human or bots. I think they're either like Gen Z kids that have brain rot, and they always spam the word wayment. And a couple of them commented that on some of my videos. And as far as I can tell, there's no meaningful reference. It's like not even a meme. Way meant as in like payment. Yeah, if I googled it and there's like a couple TikTok memes about it, and it doesn't seem to relate to anything on the stream. If you guys want to research it, no, it's just like spelled there, WAYMENT. Gen Alpha slangs. Oh yeah, yes, Gen Alpha's the younger one. It's brain rot slang. Don't understand any of these references. I think it's some of them are like these very short cycle, like TikTok trends and stuff. And you have to be on TikTok all the time to understand it. You like that 80s movie? Is that a question? Okay, that might do it. Let's make sure I didn't introduce a bug. Wayment means wait a minute, or maybe hold up. Yeah, that's what I saw, but yeah, I don't know if I think the context they used it in, well, They said like, will something accept, will they accept awayments? And they used it in the context. They used it in the context of a payment, not as in wait a minute. And they kept using it as a substitute. And I was like, is that a cryptocurrency or something? But I don't know if it, I don't know if it's maybe, I don't know if I started it because like I was like, wait a minute, what's that? Is that a payment? And then maybe they were just like teasing me about confusing it with a payment. And then that's why they kept going on about it. But that's how memes are born, I guess. Ghostbusters is my favorite. I don't even remember that movie. I might have saw it when I was a kid. Supposedly they had a reboot of that movie, and it had an all-female cast. Was that one good? I never watched it. I think 1980s, when everything was good. Okay, it might now. This might work. Even the Jurassic Park movie is horribly bad. Did they make a new one? I had a toaster which would automatically turn on at night. That's not good. That's the opposite thing it's supposed to do at night. That sounds like a huge fire hazard. Wow, interesting. That's a crazy bug. Interesting. Very broken. Ended up throwing it away. Something funny was going on with this chip. Interesting. Another example of why devices need to be dumb. It's really unfortunate that we can have devices like that's like that's a safety critical device. A toaster that doesn't turn on automatically. Frida La Hoya says, "Hey Robert, nice to see you. How's it going?" Red man trying to rack up the moneyos, Robert. I haven't noticed it. Oh yeah, there's well, he said there's a Ghostbusters reference, so it's not a big deal if it's like one person doing it, but then when the chat fills up with the degenerates, it becomes too much. Do you feel like your YouTube profile pic makes you look a bit creepy or evil? I mean, the red and the stare. Yeah, I had actually I had planned to have like a kind of an arc of kind of more like hacker vibes stuff, but I never ended up getting around to creating that much content. I made I think it's salient, like it stands out in your mind. You know, I could think about different ways to market it, but I think it's good enough. I think someone's aspiring to be the leading exporter of misinformation is at least a bit evil. Yeah, it's a nice, it's a consistent character. I think you change it so your face takes up a bit more of the circle. Yeah, I also, it's slightly off center, which is kind of annoying. I need to update it. Let me think here. control face spec would be pretty funny too. Yeah, I think it's okay the way it is. Now I'm just gonna figure out why my screen's not correctly updating. Is he doing a split screen? I mean, this here? That's just the UI not showing up well. Maybe I need to use this frame dimensions. I would think it's the same. YouTube is being more buggy than usual. Yeah, you said message didn't show up. I think I'm missing a couple for context there. You're actually an NPC. $26 viewers. Oh yeah, it is higher. You're a Fed? With what organization? All Feds are watching the stream. Wow, that makes me feel really important. Honestly, that would be kind of flattering. The whole FBI is staying up late, eating pizza. Carney's watching. They're all just like, wow, this is so amazing. Nice, big budget approval. Man, I'm really disappointed that this. Actually, let me test one thing. All my screen drawing is not correct. Oh, you know what? It might be. It's drawing everything in the corner. That might be the issue. So let's open a custom frame. Let's move it. Aha. That's why. I think it's drawing to the wrong location. heading out. Have fun. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by and dropping the super chat. The level of YouTube censorship today against me specifically is insane. Yeah, it's one can only wonder what's behind the YouTube algorithm. Knows you're too based. Honestly, I think the more I learn, the more I think there is something like that. There is a certain like certain people are targeted by social media more. Oh, actually, one thing I noticed is I've been posting my backlog of shorts also to Instagram, and Instagram I've always had really poor performance, but for some reason the last few shorts, like they always used to get way less than 1,000, and recently the numbers have gone way up. Is this Dwarf Fortress? It's not. It's a terminal-based block mining game for the Linux terminal. Howdy here, Waymond. Have a good night. It's an OpenAI conspiracy against me. We're all being conspired against. So I bet this is going to be something like the following. Or is it? Bro got censored for saying OpenAI message the first time. Oh, really? Maybe it would it be funny if like I can imagine if like Elon Musk was in charge of the censorship, he would have like there would be like a based meter, and it would actually there'd be some actual computers somewhere where like every individual is evaluated based on how based they are, and there's a measure of between 0 and 100, and you get censored more if your based value is higher. Let's test. I wonder if this gets censored. GitHub. The feds actually went to your door? I guess it works now. There was a time when I was trying to name a repo. YouTube kept deleting my chat messages. Yeah, it does get into certain moods. It's so unpredictable. Hello, Hope you're doing good. Thank you for the kind words. Unfair rabbit. What are you doing? Any small context? Currently, I'm not sure how much you followed along with the series, but I'm working on the terminal game. Currently, I'm working on trying to consolidate. So I have this function for basically merging one layer of changes. It's for printing out the UI. So when I write stuff, like write text or whatever to the screen, or block changes, it goes through a function. I had two functions that are basically look the same, and I'm trying to consolidate them. I'm trying to just generalize them into one, so that way I don't have basically I can just consolidate them into one function. That way I have less code, and then I can optimize it. So that doesn't quite work. Oh boy, it's already 1:08. You know what? I should probably call it a night. Otherwise, I'll be up way too late. Yeah, I think I'll probably leave it there. All right, we'll be back tomorrow for more development on the block mining simulation game. Later.